My name is Tamika Ramsey. I am the co-CEO of Genesis Empowerment Corporation, which is a financial firm, and I am also the founder and owner of SAS, which is a fashion consulting firm. And this is my episode of Girls on Another Level.
I'm Tiara Drake, and I'm the founder of Girls on Another Level. In a nutshell, Girls on Another Level aims to progressively empower women who are catalysts for success. It is my mission to highlight African American women who are well established in their careers. What is needed are inspiring and real stories from women who have experienced things and can help guide other young women on their desired career path. My passion is to explore women's stories and what it really takes for women to be successful. The goal is to elevate and inspire the minds of women while they navigate their journey to a beneficial future. With the voice God gave me, I am committed to helping others become a girl on another level.
Before I started these businesses, I was in the financial arena. So I have over 20 years of experience in the financial sector. I'm mainly dealing with mortgages. So I worked everything in regards to a mortgage from the beginning, the conception of a mortgage on the brokering side, all the way to my final position, which was in the loss mitigations department that kind of dealt with foreclosures, loan modifications, and bankruptcies. So it's kind of interesting. I started in the beginning and I went to the end, which would end my career and move me to the next level. Most rewarding thing I enjoyed about being in the corporate arena was the fact that I was able to help so many people, which is kind of how it started in the beginning. I was able to be a help. And towards the latter part, kind of my exit from corporate, I was helping people kind of in a different facet in terms of the mortgage industry. But unfortunately, as other positions that I've held, I went from helping people more so to not really being able to help them. And that kind of crushed me because that was my purpose. That was my goal because I wanted to be able to help people get into their homes. I wanted to help people be able to save their homes. And kind of towards the end, well, throughout the career, I kind of started seeing things shift. And towards the end, especially within my last role, just one scene, I wasn't as helpful as I felt I needed to be within that company. We weren't helping people anymore. And to kind of have to take that home on a daily basis, knowing that you wanted to do more for individuals and you just couldn't help them, that's a heavy thing to carry every day. And not to mention, as I said, on that last role, I was hired to assist with in the loss mitigations department, as I said, which consists of helping people with loan modifications, helping people with bankruptcies. In fact, I ended up running the entire mortgage bankruptcy department by myself from start to finish. I was in charge of everything. So imagine working for major banks, because I've always worked for major banks for the most part. Handling for a specific bank, you're the only person that handles all of their bankruptcy loans. That's a lot within itself. And then you're having to deal with people who have loan modifications, which may need which that entails people getting assistance because they're having financial issues in paying their home, so they're seeking your assistance to maybe help lower their payments or what have you. So that within itself was an ordeal because that unfortunately you were denying more people than approving. So I dealt with that, and then the ultimate foreclosure. That's never a fun thing when you have to tell someone you have X amount of days to remove, that they have to relocate. So that's never anything that brings joy to you. So that's initially what that last bank had hired me for. But of course, those are a lot of hats within itself, to wear those hats. I had other responsibilities too that became my own, that should not have been my own. So I actually dealt with compliance as well. And again, I wrote a lot of processes and procedures that were in place for the company that still exists now. And I worked very closely with the vice president of the mortgage department. So I kind of got to the point where I was even interviewing attorneys and what have you, for specific roles within the mortgage department to assist and partner with that particular bank. So I wore a lot of hats, and I brought a lot of work home and worked a lot of late hours. Straw that made me decide that this is just not for me. Corporate isn't for me anymore. As I said, I dealt with worked with so many of the major banks that's out there, and it's always, there's always a shift in things, and you have to learn how to reinvent yourself within the mortgage industry, because everything affects mortgages. So if the stock market crashes, like COVID, just whatever the case may be, it's always going to affect the mortgage industry. So you have to learn to kind of shift and be able to adapt to those different trends to be able to remain successful in the industry. And I think for me, the final straw, as I said, it had been kind of building up for years. And when I was at that last company, and as I said, I was working with the loss mitigations department, and bringing home that everyday feeling like you didn't succeed in assisting someone because their finances may not have been in order to the bank's approval, which I get it, but sometimes it's just heart-wrenching when you know that you have to tell families that you have to vacate their properties. So just dealing with that, and again, having such a heavy workload in terms of being dealing with so many departments and having to kind of do all the work on my own. But I think the last straw for me was very interesting, because I worked on a specific compliance project, and I was actually they had this program where they wanted to do loan assumptions. They wanted to start that. And what a loan assumption is if you allow someone to take over someone else's mortgage if their financial affairs are in order. So they didn't really have any processes and procedures in place. So that became my project from start to finish, in terms of studying the law, speaking with attorneys and what have you, to make sure that this bank was in place to be able to process loan assumptions. And so I did all of the work and everything, and we got it up and running, and everything was going smoothly. And I mean, the bank was able to close so many loan assumptions because I was doing the work. Like I said, I did everything. And after I got everything going, up and going, they came to me and they said, well, you know what? We don't think that you should do it anymore. So there is a gentleman that we want you to train him. Because you have so much going on, train him, because we don't think that you should do it anymore. And that kind of, was like, okay. So I was like, okay, I've done all of this work, and I'm making the company a lot of money by handling this. And so I started training this gentleman, and he was part of what they would say the male culture. He was an older man, and he was kind of in, with the, as they say, the men's society, because it's mainly driven by males, this industry. And it must have been the Lord that allowed him to say some things, because he said to me, he let me know that they were paying him bonuses for each loan that was being closed, and he attempted to kind of try to hire me to serve as his assistant. And then he let me know, which I should have never found out, how much they were paying him on top of his salary, what they were going to pay him for each one. And when I found that out, I was like, are you kidding me? Because they never gave me any bonuses or anything. My salary didn't increase when I took on this extra task. I didn't have an option but to take over the task. And I was just devastated. And I was like, wow, like really? This is, had been affecting my health. I had never had high blood pressure and all of these different things. I was just carrying so much. And when that happened, that was kind of like the final straw. And I said, you know what? I have got to go. At that particular time, I was making that decision. Should I stay or should I go in corporate? Because I had pondered that for a while. I had been working on other business ventures. Like I had been doing the styling for a while, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So I had been working on that for a while. And was having success with that. And then I had also been doing some side things in terms of financing on the insurance side, and some financing with my husband and I. We were working on that with some organizations, and we were helping those organizations as well. It was like everyone was just taking so much of me, and I didn't feel like I was getting enough in return. So I said, you know what? We talked about it. It was like, we're helping all of these other companies become prosperous and, doing all of this. Why not do it for myself? Services that we offer at the Genesis Empowerment Corporation, our financial firm, is credit coaching, debt management, life insurance, final expenses, capital funding, and trade lines. And then, of course, I have the other business, which is SAS, which stands for Saved Anointed Stylish Sisters, LLC. For that business, as I said, I am a fashion consultant. So I style people, I have been blessed to style different dignitaries, entertainers, and everyday people like you and me.